Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. The Super Bowl is set, Tony. Are you ready to take this show on location?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Not unless they play the game in my backyard. No,
what has
not
happened
me.
to you? We have done a Super Bowl in New Orleans. You and I have done that already.
Oh, done it more than once.
Yeah.
I've gone to a bunch of Super Bowls. You've gone to more than I have.
I've gone to
You've probably gone to 20 or 30
games and 35 weeks of.
Yeah, more than I. It's fun, but I'm old. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Eagles roll, the Super Bowl is set, and the Cowboys have a new coach. But we begin today with the Kansas City Chiefs once again beating the Buffalo Bills in the playoffs and once again going to the Super Bowl. It's 3 years in a row now and 5 out of 6. Great game. Could have gone either way.
Yep.
Wilbon, what does this win say about the Chiefs and where does it leave the Bills?
They're champs. They're champs. They play like champs. They win close games. They defeat worthy opponents. The Bills, I told you this morning in your podcast, I don't want to hear any analysis that is going to be critical of the Buffalo Bills today. I don't want to hear it. The Bills played great. Are they as good as the Kansas City Chiefs, particularly playing in Kansas City? No, they're not. There's no criticism of Josh Allen to be heard or spoken. Not with me. I watched that game and I just thought, my God, the Bills were terrific. And I feel for that fan base and the franchise and all the Bills mafia. I spent time there when they were getting to 4 Super Bowls and losing them. And I know what it means to that community, Tony. I have some sense of that. And of course you do too, given where you went to college. You have a greater sense of that. And so I'm not saying I was rooting for them, but I was watching sort of dispassionately. But Patrick Mahomes makes every play. Andy Reid makes every call. Chris Jones and that defense seem to make every stop that's needed in real time. I got nothing but praise for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like these other people, like going against Michael Jordan, if you're Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley and Karl Malone and John Stockton and Reggie Miller and all those guys who couldn't break through them. People cannot break through Mahomes and Kansas City. And it's just, maybe the Eagles will change that, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to track over everything that you're saying because we agree on this. I don't know what else the Buffalo Bills can do. I don't know what else Josh Allen can do.
Yeah.
People said for a couple of years he turned the ball over too much. He doesn't turn the ball over
Not
at all
all
anymore.
No.
Like he doesn't turn it over. And you're up against this. They are a championship team. Like I took down a whole lot of notes about this. The Bills ride him like a mule. Every important running play, they give him the ball, Josh Allen. Then they ask him to pass. It's not his fault if the guy drops the ball. If he puts the ball on Kincaid's hands, it's not his fault. I feel like you do. I feel sorry for him because, Mike, I'm not sure he's ever going to get to the Super Bowl. If he's got to go through Kansas City, at Kansas City, I'm not sure he's ever going to go. Now, look, I thought he made the 4th down. I thought the spot was bad. But that doesn't mean they're going to win the game.
No.
I thought the coach at Buffalo went for 2 points too early. But that doesn't mean they're going to win the game because the other team is better. The other team, Kansas City, always wins that game. In Kansas City, they win. Look, if I needed one pass, I would ask for Joe Burrow. If I needed one run, I would ask for Lamar Jackson. But if I needed a game, I want Patrick Mahomes. If I need a drive, I want Patrick Mahomes. But how many times does he have to keep proving it? He's done it with different wide receivers and different running backs.
Yeah.
He's the constant, Patrick Mahomes.
He is. So let me say one thing quick about Josh Allen. You know who Josh Allen reminds me of now? You talk about every play with his legs, he makes it. With his arm, he makes it. He's the new John Elway. That's what Josh Allen is. He is a one-man band if he needs to be. He's got more support on these teams that don't quite make it to the Super Bowl than John Elway had on some of his early teams that did make it to the Super Bowl. But Josh Allen's a great quarterback. Criticism
but
stop.
Elway got to 5, Mike.
I know.
Elway got to 5.
But Tony, he got to 2. Remember, he didn't win until he was 37, 38 years old. So Josh is
But he got to 5.
He did.
I hope.
He did.
Hope he can get in to 1.
Let's move to the NFC title game where the Eagles crushed the Commanders. Jalen Hurts passed for 1 touchdown and ran for 3 more as Philly blew open the game in the second half, blew the doors off the Commanders. Saquon Barkley rushed for 118 and scored 3 touchdowns of his own. Tony, what statement did the Eagles make by winning this one the way they won?
The Eagles are a really good team. They've got the best offensive line in all of football. Statistically, they have the best defense in all of football. They do something that very few teams do. Baltimore can do it, but doesn't do it all the time. They can beat you running, and they can beat you passing. As you know, I believe Saquon Barkley is the MVP of the league. This team collapsed last year. They brought in one new guy, Saquon Barkley, and they haven't collapsed this year. You know, I think that's a meaningful thing that they've done. People said that Jalen Hurts wasn't any good. I never said that. I like Jalen Hurts. I think a guy who's got A. Brown and Devontae Smith and Goddard, who's a great tight end, can do a lot of stuff. He was 20 for 28 for 246 yards. I mean, come on. They scored. The Eagles rushed for 7 touchdowns in the NFC Championship game. The Dallas Cowboys had 7 rushing touchdowns the whole season. The whole season, Mike. I just, you know, I think that Philadelphia is good. Let me check my notes here. Yeah, okay, I wanted to get to this. So I'm reminding myself. 6 or 7 weeks ago, I sat here and I said to people, get off Nick Sirianni. Because a lot of former pro players on the Get Up show said Nick Sirianni's got to go. He's the problem. He's the problem? They're 48-20 with Nick Sirianni, 5-3 in the playoffs. In the last 3 regular seasons, they're 39-12. He's not the problem. Nick Sirianni's okay. Yeah. That's good enough.
They don't have any problems. I care about the running and Saquon Barkley because I'm a child of running backs. The franchise I follow doesn't know anything about quarterbacks, still trying to find one after 103 years playing football. So running backs mean something to me. And I have cursed the NFL and the trend to basically put runners and running backs in a back seat.
You got to like the Eagles.
They've trashed running backs to the point where running backs have conference calls to support each other, like a support group, because they're grieving for the position they play. And now Saquon Barkley comes in, and the Jets, how stupid does everybody in the Jets front office have to feel?
Giants.
Unless they
the Giants.
I'm sorry, the Giants, of course.
So the Giants.
Jets feel stupid for another reason. The Giants are letting Saquon Barkley go. Tony, I love this. I love that Saquon Barkley can go out and just kill a team. He goes 60 to start. So what about all these coaches who have sent out running backs and all these personnel people? Running backs, that's a position for the 1940s. Oh, that Jim Brown, he wouldn't have been able to play in today's game. This is a stick it up theirs. It really is.
One correction from the last story. The Cowboys, from this story, the Cowboys only had 6 rushing touchdowns all year.
Not even 7.
So this is the thing. So you're Washington, you're going to be good in the future because the quarterback's really good. You're going to be good. You're not as good as the Eagles now. But you spend 8 or 9 minutes on the first drive and you get 3. And then the first play
60.
the Eagles run, they hand the ball off. He goes 60 yards and all of a sudden you're down. By the way, I'm just going to ask you this. Did you see the pregame with the eagle flying through the stadium?
No, I did not.
Awesome. My God, it was awesome. The eagle flies through the entire stadium and lands on a guy's arm.
Haven't you been in the link
I've never seen that. I never saw that. And it's a real eagle. It's not a crow dressed up like an eagle. It's a real eagle. Let's move on. Let's look ahead to the Super Bowl. Chiefs against the Eagles in a rematch from 2023. Neither team is a pretender. The Chiefs are now 17-2. The Eagles are now 17-3. The Chiefs are going for an unprecedented 3 straight wins in the Super Bowl era. The Packers did it twice in the era before the merger. The Chiefs are the early favorite by 2. Wilbon, what are your initial thoughts on this matchup?
The Chiefs. Can somebody win 3 straight? I mean, can somebody, you mentioned the Packers. The Packers won the last NFL championship game. So that would have been 1965. And then 2 Super Bowls, 66 and 67, all with Vince Lombardi and Bart Starr and Nitschke and all those guys. It's about the Chiefs. And can they do this? The great Shula Dolphins could not do this. The great, Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, and then into Steve Young, 49ers could not do this. The great teams of Joe Gibbs, they couldn't get back-to-back. The Giants with Lawrence Taylor.
Steelers couldn't do it.
The Steelers, Steel Curtain.
Steelers.
Couldn't do it.
No,
so to me, that's
Patriots
the theme.
Couldn't do it.
Patriots, even though they got to a third, they couldn't do it. So to me, Tone, that storyline is the storyline for me. That and Saquon Barkley. Can Saquon Barkley go out there and do something that all of football had forgotten. Be a great running back and win the game for his team. Carry his team. Can he do that?
Yeah, there's a couple of questions that are right out there, top of mind now. And one is, can the Chiefs stop Saquon Barkley? I don't know. Can Jalen Hurts have a game like he had yesterday? I don't know. But I know this. I look at the Chiefs, and I think there's 4 or 5 guys on the Chiefs that are going to go to the Hall of Fame, including their coach, who knew the year he got Patrick Mahomes that this kid was special. And so he let Alex Smith go. And everybody said, whoa, what are you doing? He let him go. And Mahomes stepped right in. Mahomes, yeah, I'll just say this. You beat that team, you have really accomplished something. Can the Eagles do it? Maybe. They came close last time. It was 38-35. It was a great game. But the thing about the Chiefs is everybody said you were one of them. I was one of them. They're vulnerable this year because they're winning these close one-score games. But they're winning them.
They're winning the games.
They win them. Yeah. Let's take a break. Coming up, Jerry Jones goes low-key with his new head coaching hire.
And Madison Keys beats the top 2 players in the world en route to her first slam. Haven't you never been to Auburn to see the War Eagle fly into Jordan Hare? It's mesmerizing.
Right. I know there's a War Eagle thing. I've seen it once or twice on TV, but I wasn't expecting this in the game yesterday. Yeah. I mean, it was fantastic.
Seen it in Philly, seen it at Auburn.
It's a huge bird.
Why?
Interns have scoured our email box and located the 2 that were not phishing scams. Let me see what's first here.
Phishing
Take these out. Are you surprised that Jerry Jones did not hire a bigger name as the Cowboys' new head coach?
No. That's why the whole Deion storyline was so stupid. Jerry Jones was not going to hire Deion. He was not going to hire anybody whose star is brighter than his. And Deion's is. All right, Jerry not hiring him. The only star that Jerry really hired was Bill Parcells, and that was late in the game for Bill Parcells. And Jerry was a different guy 25 years ago, whenever he was. 20 years ago when he hired Bill Parcells. No, Jerry was going to hire a guy whose light was dimmer, all right? And Schottenheimer, Tony, you and I, of course, got to know Brian Schottenheimer's dad pretty damn well over a lot of years, and he was a heck of a coach. And so good luck to the whole Schottenheimer family. And all that this means, I'm sure, to the son, given his father didn't get to win a championship. But no, it doesn't surprise me that Jerry Jones hired him. No, not at all.
Doesn't surprise me either for exactly those same reasons. There was the Bill Parcells hire. But after Bill Parcells was Wade Phillips and Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy. And yes, Mike McCarthy had won a Super Bowl, but he was not really a big star.
No.
And before the Bill Parcells hire, there was Dave Campo and Chan Gailey. This is what Jerry Jones likes, and you're exactly right about Deion. Jerry Jones doesn't really want a big star because Jerry Jones wants to run the team, and Jerry Jones wants all the decisions to go through him. Marty Schottenheimer wouldn't have stood for that.
Oh, no,
he
no
would
chance.
Not have. But Brian Schottenheimer will because it is his first chance at this. No, I'm not saying Brian Schottenheimer himself was the most predictable hire, but not hiring a star was completely predictable. It's in Jerry's character. It's in Jerry. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Here we go. Next one. What's the word you would use to describe Madison Keys winning the Australian Open?
It'd be a hyphenated word, Tony. Late blooming. I mean, Madison Keys is 29 years old. In women's tennis, that is like the equivalent for basketball of LeBron. I mean, you just don't see it. People win Grand Slams at 16 and 17 and 18, and at 24, you're going, oh, well, how much? The window is closing. And Madison Keys went out and beat incredibly worthy opponents. It was not a smooth ride for her up, and it had some speed bumps in it where she took steps backward, and it looked like she was never going to make this. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to watch this live at whatever time it wound up coming on, depending on what time zone I was in. I told you Friday, I was rooting for Madison Keys. I'm glad she won. But late blooming has to be part. You cannot write her story without referring to age and time and process.
That's right. No, you're 100% right. My word is validating. Madison Keys has validated her career that had been to this point a disappointing career. She made the finals of the U.S. Open, I think, in 2017. She was 22 years old.
Yeah.
And everybody thought she's, moving up. Then nothing happens. She lost that one. Nothing happens for 7 years plus. And then she makes it at 29 years old. The only woman who had a longer separation between two major finals was Venus Williams. But Venus Williams had won major championships before, which Madison Keys had not. In this particular tournament, Madison Keys beat 4 top 10 players. You know the last time that happened in women's tennis, Mike? Yvonne Goolagong in 1980.
70s.
That's 45 years ago to beat 4 top 10 players. And then she knocks off number 2 and number 1 back to back. Which is why I say, Mike, if she never wins another match, her career's okay.
Pretty triumphant.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I think so. Enough female. Let's take one last break. Still to come, perhaps the save of the year in the NHL.
And we have, wait a minute, Tony. Wait for it. Jimmy Butler news. I know you can't possibly wait through the break.
Well, I want to know where he's going. Who's he traded to?
I don't think we know that yet. I don't think it's that newsy.
Oh,
breaking news without a capital B or.
Happy time, people. Happy 38th birthday, Christy Tolliver. The Phoenix Mercury associate head coach was an accomplished guard in her playing days. Tolliver was on Maryland's national champions in 2006 and was the ACC Player of the Year in 2009. She was drafted by the Chicago Sky with a 3rd overall pick and was on championship teams with the Los Angeles Sparks in 2016 and the Washington Mystics in 2019. She was a 3-time WNBA All-Star and the league's most improved player in 2012. Tolliver became an assistant coach in the NBA with the Wizards and then joined the Dallas Mavericks in 2021. In high school, Tolliver wore number 5 in honor of Jason Kidd. Then she coached alongside him before leaving for the Mercury job.
Wasn't Tolliver a freshman on that Maryland Terrapins team that won? It seems to me that was her first year. She was like 18 years old. She is having, let me not put it in past tense, a distinguished career as a player and now a coach. Happy for her.
Happy anniversary, Tom Chambers. On this day 36 years ago, while playing with Phoenix, the bouncy 6'10 power forward posterized Knicks guard Mark Jackson with an explosive 2-handed breakaway dunk that is still considered one of the greatest in-game dunks in NBA history. Chambers had his knees over Jackson's head. Chambers made 4 All-Star teams and was the All-Star Game MVP in 1987. Chambers and Antoine Jamison are the only 2 players who have scored over 20,000 points in their careers without being elected to the Hall of Fame. Chambers was inducted into the Phoenix Suns Ring of Honor in 1999, and as part of the ceremony, Chambers was presented with a bronze statue memorializing his dunk over Jackson.
Well, unlike Jamison, Chambers made it to the NBA Finals with the Suns in 1993. See Tom all the time now doing Suns TV. He and Eddie Johnson and Andy Drysdale. That's a pretty good group of people, Hall of Famers you get to see cover the Suns if you're out in the desert. And by the way, he was always the counter to white men can't jump. Really? Tom Chambers can't jump? You want to make that case?
He can jump. Happy trails to an empty netter for the Canucks. The Canucks were up on the Capitals 2-1 late in the 3rd on Saturday night when Vancouver's Philip DiGiuseppe looked to ice the game with an empty netter. But Washington goalie Charlie Lindgren came flying out of nowhere to make the glove save. A replay shows what happens. Lindgren was leaving the ice in favor of an extra attacker. Notice the Canucks had taken possession and reversed course to make the improbable save. Lindgren deserved this moment because the only other time we've mentioned him this season is when he accidentally shoveled the puck into his own net.
What's kind of amazing here is they didn't get a penalty for too many men on the ice because you would think the extra attacker is already close enough where they screw it up. They don't communicate it or somebody doesn't see the other. Didn't happen.
One omission, the Heat are suspending your boy Jimmy Butler without pay indefinitely after he reportedly walked out of a shoot-around this morning after being told he would not be starting going forward.
Just make the deal already with somebody, preferably the Suns, but make the deal.
Let's go to the big finish. Jewel Lloyd goes from the Storm to the Aces. Kelsey Plum goes from the Aces to the Sparks in a 3-way deal. Your thoughts?
These are 2 star, popular players who are moving teams here. This is pretty good offseason news for the WNBA. Penn State hired away Ohio State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles. Is that a big deal?
Well, it's a big deal for him because he's making $3 million a year, which is more than any other coordinator in college. And it might be a big deal for Penn State if he can get James Franklin over the hump. Your Bears hired Dennis Allen as their defensive coordinator and 28-year-old Declan Doyle as their offensive coordinator. Okay by you, Mr. Bear?
Allen is an accomplished defensive coordinator. He's done that. He's been a head coach twice. This young kid, 28 years old, who's going to be with Caleb 24 hours a day, I got questions. TGL tonight, Tigers team versus Rory's team. I bet you're all jacked up for that.
I thought it was Tuesday nights. When did it become Monday nights?
There's no Monday Night Football.
The socialite is there.
Ooh.
The socialite's there watching
that?
Last one. Pistons at Cavs tonight. Will the Cavs lose their fourth straight?
No, but the Pistons are to be commended. They're above 500. The Pistons were just nowhere for years, and now they are competitive.
They stunk.
Congratulations
Yeah, they're
to
the
them.
worst team in the league. But not anymore.
Not anymore.
Because Washington's the worst team in the league. We're out of time. Try and do better the next time, and I'm Tony Kornheiser.
I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the app or Apple Podcasts. Here's SportsCenter. Monday
You gotta
night
see
now.
the Eagle the next time. Will they put the Eagle in the dome? They won't put the Eagle in the dome, will they?
No, you can't have the Eagle in a dome.
No.